If you're a solar installer in the UK of any size and you've ever spent money on paid traffic sources like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, and you've never got anything meaningful from them, you've wasted money. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly why that is. And one better, I'm going to show you how you can start consistently making money from cold traffic sources like Facebook and Instagram, because they can be an amazing way to grow your business if you do them correctly. Who am I to tell you that? My name is Michael Brown. I'm the director of Solar Scale UK. Over the past 3 years, we've seen the insides of over 300 solar installation companies in the UK. I'm personally worked with over 25 installers to add an additional £250,000 in annual turnover. So in this video, I'm going to show you why the paid traffic sources haven't been working and how you can start fixing that. Now, if you've been wasting money on Facebook and Instagram, it's one of two reasons. One, your lead provider is shit, or two, your leads are good, but you're not working them correctly. Now, let's hammer home the first point, okay? Most of you are probably struggling with the first one because it's really hard to find good Facebook, Instagram, cold traffic leads in the UK, but it is possible to self-gen if you've done enough research and put the time in and the money in testing your own funnel to create things yourself. So if you're self-genning in-house and it's going really well, this doesn't apply to you. For those of you who are spending money, wasting them on marketing agencies, maybe paying them £800 to £1,500 per month plus ad spend, and you're not getting results, here's why. Unlike every other industry in the UK, carpet cleaning, roofing, you name it, generating qualified solar leads in the UK is really hard. It's really hard, and there's many reasons for that, and I won't dive into them in this video, but the hammer home point here is, specifically for residential solar leads in the UK, it's really hard to generate leads that actually buy, but it's possible. Now, most of your marketing agencies who come and try and sell you on a retainer plus ad spend, or maybe it's a newbie and they're saying, look, don't pay me a retainer, I'll just manage your spend, because they want the practice. The thing they don't understand is, and they don't have the scars to show that they understand this, generating leads in the UK for solar residential is really hard, and it's not like every other industry. And what happens when you run the typical marketing playbook, like run a normal lead form, say, hey, here's your offer, drive traffic through that, get some numbers and emails and start calling them. If you run that typical marketing playbook for solar UK residential, you get shit results. And these companies don't understand that. And so they can say to you with confidence, hey, we're going to get you XYZ, here's going to be your return on investment. You're going to spend £1,500 a month on ads, plus say a £1,200 retainer. You're going to get 10 jobs, 10 grand each, no brainer. Now they can do that in other companies, and it's quite easy to do that for other industries, but it doesn't work in this industry, and they don't understand that. And if they have the scars to show that they understand that, what they haven't done is spend their life and energy figuring out the problem and solving that problem of why is it so hard to generate good leads in the UK. Much easier to take your money than to spend their own money and time figuring out why it doesn't work, ripping their own hair out. And as far as I can see, and the team can see at Solar Scale, there isn't a company out there who's actually invested in fixing that problem, because it's much easier to take your money and say, thanks, pay me for another month, right? So that's the reason you're getting bad leads, because you're working with companies who don't understand the very specific industry in the UK that they're trying to sell to, and they're delivering bad results. Companies who generate solar in the US have a much easier time, and it's a completely different conversation. So companies that come over from the US trying to do it in the UK, that's also a no-go, because it's not the same thing. It's a completely different market. One reason why, and I'll give you one reason why it doesn't work and why it's really hard to market to this audience, is most of you guys are looking for cash buyers, or at the very least you're looking for someone who can finance. Now, that's for those of you who aren't doing Eco4. Because you're looking for these two things, or one of these two things, you can't be talking to people who don't have the cash or have really bad credit scores. But the thing is, we've all seen these ads of people saying, hey, the only reason that every homeowner in the UK doesn't have panels is because they don't know that they're free. Enter your postcode now and you can find out what free panels you can get. Like, that's what everyone has seen. And so trying to get leads through the door that don't think it's free is one of the things you need to do before you can actually start saying, I have qualified leads. That's one of a bigger picture, one piece of a bigger puzzle. But that's one example of why it's so hard in this industry, because people have been exposed to all of these ads, and that's a nationwide problem. And it's probably to do with Project Solar, if we're being honest. But who's to say who's actually running those ads? They're always anonymous. It's probably Project Solar. Now, that's why you're getting bad results. Now let's talk about how you can get better results. Okay, regardless of whether your leads are shit or good, making this change right now can improve your results. Change these few things. Firstly, have someone, if it's not yourself, because you're a director and you're really busy, and there's a lot of silent responsibilities that you have to shoulder that people don't realize you do, that mean that you'll probably finish work at 9 p.m, start at 6, right? And most people don't realize how much you actually do. If you do have the time as a director, then do this, but if not, get someone else to do it for you. The thing you have to do is pounce on the lead as soon as it comes in. If you can get them within the first 60 seconds, you're going to double your contact rates. And if you think about your funnel as many different steps, as long as your conversion rate from the top of the funnel down to a sale, the bottom of the funnel, is not 0, if you double the number of people you are speaking to, you've just doubled the number of people you've sold. And if you're selling an average order value of 10K, profit margins of 30%, call it, you've just made an extra $3,000 if you're selling one a month, because you've doubled it. Now, that's the first thing you can do, is call them within the first minute. And that might sound quite extreme, but just do it and see what happens, because it's a game changer. 5 minutes, even slightly worse, but way better than an hour. If you wait an hour, you're really going to struggle to have people come in that you can speak to. And then you're going to think, why are these leads so shit? The problem is there was nothing wrong with the lead. You just had to work it differently based off where it came from. Because working leads from cold traffic sources is not at all like working a referral or an inbound PPC lead who's typed, I want to buy solar, like, who's selling it. So pounce on them within the first 60 seconds and see what happens to your business. I guarantee you, if any of you are watching this and you try that change, try it for 2 weeks, then comment below exactly what happened. I would love to see that. Now, the second thing is, if you're going to call them, double dial. So what that means is, if you're going to register how many times a day you call a lead, let's say you call them once a day. What a double dial means is, if you call them once a day at 10 a.m, call them. If they don't answer, immediately call again. Now that's counted as one ring, and that's called double dialing. That's going to really change your contact rates too, because there's many people who will answer the phone given it's been called twice and think it's important, which it is, right? You're trying to help them and they asked you to help them. It's also going to get through the do not disturb filter on phones, and many people just leave, including myself, my phone on do not disturb, even when I'm not really in do not disturb mode. And that means that when a call comes through, that do not disturb silences the call. But if you call again, then it starts ringing. Okay, so those are the 2 reasons why double dialing helps. So get on them within 60 seconds, double dial. The next thing is call them 3 times per day for 7 days before you bin them off and say it's a bad lead. Now, this might sound like a lot, and you'd be right, it's a lot, because it's actually a full-time job to work leads from these traffic sources. And this is also where some of you guys are struggling. You're thinking, maybe my leads are shit, but the problem is you're not working them correctly, and that's not your fault. The reason you're not working them correctly is because you don't have time. You guys are so busy. Like, I was probably speaking to a director right now. Like, if you're a director of a solar installation company, you have so much to do. You cannot sit around looking at a phone, waiting for a lead to come in, pounce on it within 60 seconds. If it doesn't answer, call it 3 times a day, double dialing for 7 days before binning it off. Because if you're getting 1, 2, if you're a small company, 1, 2 leads a day, like for that 7-day period, you got 14 leads, you're calling them 3 times a day, double dialing. When they answer, you're going to have at least like a 10, 15 minute conversation. That's too much time for you. You've got too much to do. And that's not your fault. But what that means is you might think your leads are bad, which they probably are, but you might think your leads are bad, but you're actually just not working them correctly. So make sure you have someone who's doing that process for you. And we actually use this for an internal document for our closers. Just for some context, we have a roster of remote solar closers for our clients. We put them in touch with the closer sells the job for them, so all the client has to do is install, rather than call leads, try and sell it, etc. Right? So really it's just putting your sales on autopilot. But we actually use an internal document that says essentially what I've just told you here for the closers, and say, hey, act in this way before you even get on the sales call. This is how you get hold of people. And the closers that do that, which is everyone, massively outperform the closers who don't do that, which do not work for us anymore. So it's a must do. And the reason we insist on it so religiously is because that is how you have to work these leads to get good results. So if you implement this, you'll find a massive improvement. The final thing I'll leave you with is called the "she's not text me back," right? Humorously named. We have a shit sense of humor. So the point here is you can focus so much now on getting hold of new leads, which would be a big improvement for where you currently are, that you can actually forget that once you've had a sales call, with a customer, and they don't come back to you, and they said they would, say in 3 days, you can take that personally and just say, oh, he's a tire kicker. But the thing is, these people have very busy lives, just like you. And the point is, the "she's not text me back" is a really shit joke. But what it hints at is, don't be that sort of person where you sat around thinking, oh, she's not text me back. Like, oh, he's not called me back. I gave him a proposal. He sounded like he was good, but he's not got back to me. Like, keep on that lead, because the leads that are closest to the sale, if this is the new leads coming in, and these are the leads that are going to sell, the leads that are closest to selling in that customer journey are the ones who are at that point where you've given them a price, you've sold them on all the benefits of your company, it sounded like things were going well, but for whatever reason you didn't quite manage to close on the day. They're right there. They just need one slight push. They might need one phone call to get them over the line. But if you're so focused on the start of the funnel getting hold of these people, which you'd be absolutely forgiven for being too laser focused on the top of the funnel, given what I've just said, if you're too focused on that, you'll drop the ball at the end. And this process only works if you are perfect the whole way through. And man, when you nail this whole process, you start printing money. You can turn £1,500 ad spend into 60 grand like this. And that's consistent. You can genuinely do that. There's no reason you can't do that. And a lot of you right now will have the belief that Facebook ads and Instagram ads don't actually work. And you're completely forgiven for thinking that. But it's just because you've either, going back to these 2 points at the start of the video, it's just because you've either not had leads that are actually good because they're really hard to find, or you've actually had good leads, but you weren't working them correctly because you just didn't have the time or you didn't know how. So I promised you at the start of this video, I'll tell you why you've never had good results from Facebook and Instagram as a solar installer in the UK. And I promised I would show you how to do that. So hopefully I've delivered on that promise. Now, if you guys are looking for any sort of help, if you have any constraint in your business and you're wondering what to do, you're not really quite sure where to go, your wheels are spinning really in the business, you're spending money but you're really moving nowhere, or maybe even worse, you're actually losing money and you're on the decline, I've left my WhatsApp number in the description. Feel free to message me, ask me literally anything. We've seen the inside of over 300 companies, so we've seen your position before, don't worry, and we'd love to offer you some free help. If you're in a position where you feel like you want to put your sales on autopilot, you don't have the time, you're fed up of wasting money on leads that you may or not actually be able to close, and really all you want to do is have a machine in your business, infrastructure in your business that generates installs, not leads, but installs on a consistent basis, then I'll also leave a link down below. You can click and take a look at more information. Essentially what we do is we come into your business as an installer, no matter what your size. We put a machine in there that consistently generates sales. So that's leads and the closer in your business selling for you like clockwork. So all you need to do to focus on growing the business is installing the job and doing a really nice install. So if either of those two things sound helpful for you guys, just check down below. Again, there'll be my WhatsApp number and a link to install the machine into your business. I will see you in the next video. We are posting twice a week, like promised. Free value for you guys, no matter where you're at as a solar installer. It's a really hard, competitive market, so hopefully some of you guys out there are finding these videos useful. And we'll see you on Sunday. Cheers.